daughter. I want to see Mary Com's son or daughter when she is performing in the field. But it is not happening with us. Mary Com, my question was actually repeated by you. Mary Com was not exposed by media unless she bagged 5-time gold. Isn't it biased behavior of the media?
Unfortunately, it's not a bias. I know even I used to feel the way you do about it, but it's not a question of bias. It is genuinely a question of knowing what you are in a huge minority in the way you're talking about what you want to read or listen to or watch. But genuinely you are a significant minority in terms of what content people are looking for. We used to see it on social media numbers, na? That if Rohit Sharma posted something with his daughter, you would suddenly have a few million likes. But Mary Com posted something with her sons, 30 likes, 40 likes. This is all friends and family liking the same post. Nahi, logo ko interest nahi hai. And can the media build it? Yes, but look at it from their perspective and their jobs. I genuinely believe it. They are producing content which is likely to drive traction for the platform. If that content is not Mary Com, it's not Mary Com. No editor will say go ahead anyway.
So should I conclude that it is regarding, it's only marketing, not a social welfare kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Or, see, when we are expecting from society some heroes should come out in other field, society will learn from you, and you are saying we are actually promoting those things the society wants to see. So it's basically nothing concerned with the sports promotion. It's simply market strategy and market demand. That's it.
For the two organizations you're talking about, absolutely. My job, for example, is to generate money for talent. It is not to promote talent that I don't manage. Likewise, the media's job is what it is. This job of, so how do we know about Neeraj Chopra, right? Nobody knew till he won the Olympic gold, except the industry maybe. Nobody knew till Neeraj Chopra existed. He has earned the right by performing on the international stage to be talked about, to be listened to be heard wherever he is. Ultimately, we were sort of talking about this line, it is money chases excellence and money drives everything else, right? So, till excellence is achieved, it's not going to come. Mary's following, Mary's reputation was also built on the back of the 5th championship and the London medal. Until then, nobody knew. So, performance is going to drive this, nothing else. It's not going to happen out of charity. And it should not happen out of charity because that can't be sustained.
Tarun, I feel after that we'll take Dr. Kapoor's question. Movies can have a role to play. I mean, after Chak De India, they do a lot of in creating awareness about anything. Movie can play a huge role for other sports as well. What do you think?
I'd say generally yes, but we've had a movie, we've had Chak De India, it's done very little for hockey. Nothing has really changed. Maybe they do have a sponsor now, a couple of sponsors, the team is doing better.
Yeah.
But who's the captain of the Indian hockey team? Most people would struggle to answer. Who's the captain of the women's hockey team? Nobody has a clue. So it doesn't especially...
So maybe momentally it just creates...
Absolutely, right? It's that little bit of a hype. We've had a movie on the life of Sandeep Singh, the hockey drag flicker. But किसी को movie का नाम भी याद नहीं होगा. But you do, everybody remembers MS Dhoni, the untold story, Sachin, a billion dreams. So it's that same juggernaut that plays out in every field. You can't create a mountain out of a molehill. It's difficult to do. It's really difficult. And every sports story has been told the same way. गरीब background से आया, बहुत मेहनत की, कुछ बन गए, then the stardom followed, then there's some downfall, and then there is a resurgence. Right? Every story is that.
Every story.
Dangal made the Fogart sisters famous, but if they were sitting around here today, I don't think people are going to recognize them. It's really a flash in the pan. What's going to sustain it? Only this international dominance, nothing else.
Yes, there was a question from Dr. Kapoor.
The two short questions, mostly observation. Instead of blaming media and marketing, isn't it that the cricket is being administered very well as compared to hockey, football and other sports? The cricket board is doing much better in terms of administration and spread of the sport. That could be one of the reasons why a lot of talent is coming and a lot of the performances are also increased over the years. And the second is IPL a photocopy of the British Premier League?
So the second one first, no. I think that, so, you can't really copyright an idea in that sense. So you have a league playing out across a long period in the EPL, for example. The IPL is a very short 7-week window in which they do a tournament. And the IPL is actually a remarkable structure because they have managed to create a window in the international calendar which is blocked out for this. So despite not being an ICC event, there's an official window in the ICC schedule where everybody can come and play the IPL and make their money. IPL has been very, very well crafted to suit the Indian palate in various ways. Uska Bollywood and cricket ka mix, especially in the beginning, uske bina it probably would have failed. And again, Mr. Mathur was talking about it yesterday in his session. They found it really hard to sell the IPL teams in the beginning. You were there in that session as well, na? I was told the story, it's sort of hearsay, but I don't know if it's true. One of the IPL owners, one of the large organizations that own an IPL team was called by the BCCI and said, would you consider buying a team? They went through the proposal, they tried to understand it, and the answer was no. Ultimately, they called the promoter, and they sold him the larger vision of what the IPL could be. And as they describe it, the promoter got it like that. And he made a decision saying, I am going to buy this team, provided you give me the city I am looking for. That's how the franchise got sold. But today, for love of money, you can't buy into a franchise. People are spending crazy amounts of money to get into the IPL now. It's just how well it was done in the beginning. For the first question, it's not a question of blaming the media, blaming a sports marketing company. It literally is everybody doing their job. Is cricket better administered than other sports? Now, yes. But I'm told, I was born in 83, 87 when this entire transformation was happening, that it wasn't like cricket was particularly well administered then. You might have seen some of this as well. People have used the line saying cricket grew despite the BCCI, not because of the BCCI. I don't know if kitni sachai hai, but today it is exceptionally well administered. There's a template for everything that happens in cricket. It's long Excel sheets, but it is done as professionally as saying कि हमारे table पे bottle of पानी होना चाहिए with the branding ribbon. So it will go into that kind of detail, which flowers are to be kept on a table. It's really been brought down to that nuance. So now it's easy, like I said. It's a template that anybody can follow.
Tarun, I think I just want to say one thing, that entire discussion which we are doing is more about sports marketing, cricket. But I think one important point which we are missing here is that the Gen Z, the people who are born between 1997 to 2012, they are the people who are different. Because the kind of sports which they are consuming, it's not that sports marketing or the sports which we are talking is only which are originated or played in India, like we are talking about hockey or Indian soccer players. But if you see that final match between France and Argentina, where Lionel Messi versus Carlos Mbappe, I think there were a lot of traction in India itself about which was like humongous, a lot of clubs and everywhere it is booked. I think that perspective is also important, where we are to see our generation. I remember, I am also a cricket ardent fan, that entire 5-day test match we used to watch sitting glued to a television. But I think this generation, which is Gen Z, don't have a time to watch a ODI or don't have a time to watch even T20. For that matter, even after the World Cup, initially when it started, because I interact a lot with Gen Z on a day-to-day basis, there was no hype. Nobody was talking about. When I used to ask them, they said, yeah, World Cup is going on. As soon as when India start winning the matches, people start watching it. So I think things are changing with Gen Z, with cricket, and it's not only Indian. I think, like I gave an example of that World Cup final, there is a lot of craze of soccer, there is a lot of craze of esports, there is a lot of craze of a lot of other sports also. So one perspective of what Gen Z is consuming is also a very important point, and where do you see that's going? Because I think Gen Z is going in a different kind of sports consumption.
So I think that's absolutely true. They do show somewhat of a different pattern from previous generations. For example, this anecdotal evidence of football being more consumed than it was earlier is true. But that number is still so small related to cricket that it doesn't really yet make a dent. It is growing. It is growing. I've worked on the ISL personally, so I have seen what happens in stadiums at Kochi, at Goa, at Chennai. In Kolkata, people go absolutely bonkers when a football match is being played. And it's a better atmosphere than going to a cricket match and watching it. But that transition is slow and painful. I think uska secondary problem hai. That our performance on the field is not good enough today to capture Gen Z's imagination to the degree we want. Right? So they don't want to watch the ISL. They want to watch the Premier League. They happily watch the World Cup. World Cup to humne bhi dekha. Even though we don't watch the Premier League much, but World Cup to humne bhi dekha. Until that changes, we are producing a globally competitive product. This generation especially is so exposed to everything else that how do you convince them to watch an inferior product? Time utna hi hai. Main usme kyun dekhunga ISL? Same things happening with esports. The content that we are producing in this country, Gen Z would tell you is slightly inferior to the content that's been produced overseas. So they are all happily watching Valorant, $40 million prize pools. They are watching all the streamers from overseas. But it's only 3 or 4 Indian streamers that have really made a mark in what they're trying to do. Ab wo bhi budhe ho rahe hain, and there's no real replacement for them. Last I checked on esport. So it will change, but it will still take a few years to go. Esports is an interesting, especially interesting place because it doesn't really require government support, federation, etc. to make run. So maybe that has the best chance.
And like you said, to sum it up all, unless there are some questions, excellence has to be there. Excellence wins. So whether it is cricket or what I got from the session is whether it's cricket or any other sport, unless the other sports achieve that level of excellence, the cricket is here to stay, for a long time.
It's easier said than done, but what this country needs is a Muhammad Ali of boxing, a Tiger of golf.
Exactly.
Golf बहुत लोग देखते थे.
Tiger Woods के
But
बाद
nobody in this country, nobody in large parts of the world knew anything about golf. Tiger emerged from the scene. एक आदमी ने पूरा नक्शा ही बदल दिया. Sachin did it for cricket in India. Now we just hope that with whatever little effort is being made, accelerating effort is being made, we can produce 3 or 4 of these guys in quick succession in other sports. And the momentum is there. People want alternate avenues outside cricket, but aaj hai nahi. Hopefully in the next 5 or 6 years we'll get to see some.
Hope pe duniya zinda hai, hum bhi hai. And before we end the session, we haven't spoken about the book, Portrait of a Secret, which Tarun has written, and the movie rights have been taken by none other than famous Mr. Sikka. And I just had to tell you this, 2 years back, same place, same chairs, I was sitting with Mr. Anurag Pathak, the author of 12th Fail, and which is made into a super successful movie, and I wish the same for Tarun. So I have to take a picture with him because once the movie is made, he may not be so readily available.
Last free passes.
Sorry?
Free passes you will get for the
Free
show.
passes. Tarun, promise?
We're trying to do a screening here.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's give him a round of applause and all the best wishes, Tarun. Thank you so much.
This really was a very interesting session we just experienced. As ma'am's experience, we all have also experienced it at our homes, that whenever it is a match day, our fathers and brothers are like, we are not going anywhere today, we have to sit and watch the match today. And in contrast with that, basically and usually is about a cricket match, we have to, as a whole, look at sports not only as a cricket to be a sport, but also other games like hockey, a national sport, which is not very famous, but only because of the movies that we see. We need to focus on sport as a whole, and as an audience that we just experienced such an interesting session, need to implement it in our views and in our lives. Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening session, and ma'am for being a fine moderator. Thank you so much. With this, I would like to invite Ms. Shalini Mahajan ma'am, founder of the society, co-founder of the society, to please present the memento to our esteemed guest. A big round of applause, everyone.
हमारी पिछली जो मूवी बन गई तो पता नहीं अब हमें मौका मिलेगा कब